What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here again for our end of the month tier list. Better late than never, some would say, as we have played a game in February, but we're going to be looking at the games, the 1-0 win against Burnley, the 2-2 draw against United, the 1-0 loss against Manchester City, and the 3-2 win against Brentford. And you know how it goes. We have got 7 tiers now, and it goes from player of the month to excellent to very good to okay, not good, and can't judge, and it's done on the average of our player ratings throughout the month as well. And if we feel like we've underjudged or overjudged someone, we will put them in their correct tier list. But it's been a very up and down month, hasn't it?
Obviously the loss to Man City was very bad, but other than that, obviously 2 wins against Burnley and Brentford were decent. The draw away at Old Trafford was a good performance, but obviously not the best result. So it'll be interesting to see where all these players come out.
All right, well, let's get straight into it. Who are we going to go? We're going to go for Cuti Romero up first.
Made his return this month.
Yeah, and I think he's had a fairly good month. There has been a few defensive lapses in there, concentration in there, but I think all in all, if you take his performances, I think it's been good. So I would probably say he goes into good.
He actually goes into excellent. He's averaging an 8.
Wow.
I think maybe recency, because maybe he didn't have the best game against Everton, it's in our mind, but we averaged him an 8 overall for the month. So extremely good month for Romero, because obviously made his return against Man United and was really good in that game. He was one of the shining lights in the City Cup game as well. And then against Brentford, apart from maybe the first goal, had a pretty good game on top of that as well. So, really good month for Romero.
Do you think that's where he should be?
Yeah, I think for January, yeah. I think so. I thought he was really good on his return.
Yeah,
I did.
I do think, as you mentioned, there was that one game, wasn't it? Which game was it? Where it was the Brentford game where a goal or two was his fault?
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't say his fault, but he could have done better with.
Yeah. So apart from that, yeah, I do agree. He has had a stellar
You gave him
month.
3 8s. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's leave that at that then. Timo Werner up next.
Timo Werner.
Just joined, obviously, the first time he's making his appearance on this tier list. I'll probably say he goes into good.
He goes into 6.7.
Yeah, so good.
So yeah, it goes into good.
The upper end of good, 6.9 is the cutoff there. So I think Timo's made an okay start to life at Spurs. There has been a few situations where he's making really good runs and we're not really finding him. Obviously, the first 10 minutes of the second half of that Brentford game, he was incredible. But, I'm still expecting more from Timo.
Yeah, 7 against Man United, 6 against Man City, and then an 8 against Brentford. So I do think he's been pretty solid. I don't think it's been an unbelievable start, but I think he has made an impact. He's doing a job for the team, and I wouldn't say I'm delighted so far, but I'm pretty happy. I think he's made a good impact so far.
Yeah, especially when we needed him massively with the Son being out in Asian Cup. Who's up next? That Ben Davis. Yeah, Ben Davis was probably can't judge, right? He hasn't played a minute,
played one game. He played the game against Burnley, then he got injured. Didn't play since then. He did get an 8 for that game. So, unless we want to put him in excellent for the one game, then I guess you put him in can't judge. But he did play a game.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a push, a bit of a stretch to put him in excellent.
He did have a good game against Burnley.
One good game, yeah.
Both gave him an 8.
Do you want to put him in excellent then?
Why not? Excellent, Ben Davis.
All right, Ben Davis getting his
he's given us some loyalty. He's been here for a long time.
So yeah, we should give him some loyalty back, 100%. Rodrigo Bentancur up next. He hasn't had a good month, in my opinion. He's come back from injury. Has he played in all 4 games?
He played in all 4 games, yep.
So I think he started okay, and then he's got kind of gradually worse, hasn't he, as the month has progressed. So I'll probably say he goes into either okay or not good. I'm not sure which one.
6.9.
6.9. That's good, actually.
Goes into good. We both gave him good. Well, so he got a 7 for both of us for the Burnley game at home. Then he got a 9 and I gave him an 8. You gave him a 9 for the Man United away game.
But it's that game that gives him a bump up, doesn't it?
And then the City at home, both gave him 6s, and Brentford at home, he obviously went off half time, both gave him 5. So you're pretty much right. He started this month well and got a bit worse as the month went on, but did enough to get into good.
I'll probably say he should be bumped down to okay, because the levels that we know that Rodrigo Bentancur can show I just don't think it's been anywhere near that. Like even that Man United game when we're giving him 9, I think we probably overrated him a bit.
I don't know. I thought he did have a good start to the month. I thought when he first
scored
came
a goal,
in,
to be fair.
I thought against Burnley he was pretty good as well in that first game. But I don't know whether we've been relying on him too much with his return to injury and maybe he's being overplayed. But he has seemed to be getting worse in recent weeks.
I guess the game at Goodison Park might be clouding my judgment as well a bit on this one, because I thought I was really upset with him after that game at Everton, and I think it's probably his worst showing since he's been back, the Everton game. So yeah, I guess maybe good. We'll side with that one. Who's up next? Skippy. Skippy's had a good month, to be fair. I would say Skippy goes into good.
6.1.
6.1. Okay.
Goes into okay.
So I don't know about that one, because I thought he was good at Old Trafford. I thought he was good when he came on against Man City, and I thought he was good at against Brentford as well when he went off at half time, even though he's one of our better players.
He did. I thought he was really poor against Burnley though in the cup game. We both gave him 5s for that one. Then the Man United game, both gave him. Both gave him a 7 for the game against Man United, where he did play quite well. Man City obviously came off the bench. We both gave him 6s. And then the Brentford game, I gave him a 6 and you gave him a 7. So nothing above a 7. And there has been a few 5s and 6s there. So goes into okay for him.
Unfortunate, because it's probably been his best month of the season.
Yeah, but I think that goes to show he's been quite lacking in quality and game time for a lot of the season. But I think he was decent, but I don't think he was anything spectacular.
Fair enough. Next up was that Manor Solomon. He goes into can't judge. Really unfortunate for him. It seems like he's got a setback, and nobody knows when he's going to be back now, which is very frustrating. Next up is Yves Bissouma. Also can't judge. He's been at the AFCON all month, albeit he has been knocked out now, so we should be seeing him this weekend. Mickey van der Ven. Surely this is our player of the month this month. He surely goes straight into excellent.
He does go into excellent. 7.8 he's been averaging. An 8 against, he obviously came back against Man United, he got an 8 there, 9 against Man City, and a 7 against Brentford. So very, very solid month for Van der Ven, and a really good return for him.
Is that the highest rated so far, or did Romero get more?
Romero got slightly more.
Interesting. Heung-min Son, can't judge. He's been away at the Asia Cup for pretty much the whole month, and we've got James Maddison up next on his return. I think, was it only one game?
Well, he came on against City. We gave him a rating for that, and then obviously started against Brentford, where he had a poor start to the game but ended it really strongly.
I know we gave him 7s for the Brentford game, right? And for the City game, what did we rate him?
I rated him a 5, you rated him a 4. So overall, it's 5.8.
5.8, so okay. I think that's fair enough for Maddison, because coming back from injury, hasn't reached his peak yet. Everton game as well, probably his best of the lot, and we gave him like a 7 or something. So a lot more to come from James Maddison, that's for sure.
I agree.
Emerson Royale up next. I don't think he's played, has he?
He played again one game against Burnley, and we both gave him an 8 for that game.
Are we really putting
Emerson and Davis both an excellent?
That's ridiculous.
Come on, Emerson, big up. He hasn't played since that game.
What at this point is a meaningless game in the third round of the FA Cup, which we're out of already.
Look, they won. They played well. What can we say?
Vicario up next.
Vicario,
yeah. I'm saying he probably goes into what? Very good.
6.6.
Ooh. And just into good.
3 6s against Burnley, Man United, and City, and a 7 against Brentford. Obviously, you gave him 3 6s and a 7. I gave him 4 7s. So he doesn't get into very good. Down to you.
Down to me.
Explain yourself.
Yeah, I think a lot of the games he's just been had not much to do, to be honest. And the things that he has done, obviously the Man City game, we put that goal down to him for not being strong enough. So he got marked down for that one. Against Manchester United, I think he was hardly tested, wasn't he? Couldn't really do much.
I think they had 2 shots on target, 2 goals.
Exactly. And it's just been one of those cases where he's been all right. There's not been much to criticise him for apart from that Man City goal, but he's just had not much to do.
Yeah, hasn't been one of his months where he's been all action kind of thing. So I think that's probably fair.
Who is up next? Here we go, singing do-a-dee-dee-dee-dee-dum-dee-dee-doo. Richarlison, surely he goes in. I was saying Van de Ven player of the month, but it's probably Richarlison.
7.1.
Nah, come off it.
That's what we're giving him.
7.1. Hasn't he scored in every
7.1.
single game?
Burnley game, he didn't score.
Burnley and Man City.
Man
Oh,
City.
2 cup games, yeah.
Burnley actually had a pretty poor game. We both gave him 5s out of 10 there. Did get a 9 out of 10 for the United game. Then got a 7. I gave him a 7 for the City game. You gave him a 6. And then we both gave him 8s for the Brentford game. So just misses out on this particular month in excellent.
Wow.
Which is unfortunate because obviously the United game and the Brentford game, 2 goals there, which are pretty good.
If you took out the cup games, he probably goes into excellent.
Yeah.
But the cup games kind of let him down. I mean, the Man City game, he was just like feeding off scraps the whole game, wasn't he? He worked hard as he always does. Fair enough. And the Burnley game, did he start the Burnley game?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember.
Yeah, he just didn't have a good game. He was pretty poor in that one.
So I guess the cup games just let him down a little bit. But look, don't get it twisted. He's been brilliant of late. Absolutely brilliant. He probably should go into excellent for his showings in the league. But you got to rate every game he's played, so he goes into very good. Next up is Dejan Kulusevski. I don't think he's had a good month by any stretch of the imagination, to be honest. I'd probably say he goes into okay.
5.2.
Yeah. Oh, he goes into not good.
Not good.
Wow.
Poor month for Kulu. What game did we not rate him for? Oh, he was injured for one game. Man United, he didn't play. But
he was ill that game.
He got 5 against Burnley. He got a 6 against City and a 5 against Brentford. So it's been a really poor month from him, to be honest. He's been off it. Which is really unfortunate because he's been having a good month, a good season, but last month or so he's just been off the pace.
Yeah, it was really frustrating as well. It's like when we need him the most, when we've got players out in the AFCON and injuries and Asia Cup and stuff, and Brennan Johnson not really pulling up too many trees at the moment. We really need Decky. It's unfortunate that he hasn't been good, but hopefully a better month to come this month of February, albeit it didn't have the greatest start to it. Next up is Pape Matar, is it?
Yeah.
Pape hasn't played, so can't judge. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg up next.
6.1.
6.1. So he goes into okay, which I think is fair enough. I don't think he's been great. He hasn't been terrible, but yeah, just been average.
Yeah, and his best performance was against Brentford. We both gave him a 7, but other than that, he got a 6 against Burnley, 5 against United, and a 6 against City. So he's been pretty much, as you expect in this month. Nothing spectacular, nothing too bad, but always leaves you like knowing you can have an upgrade there.
It's a very much more like leveled out tier list so far, isn't it? Usually this season, everyone's been like, it's been kind of top heavy, unfortunately, apart from that one run. But Giovanni Lo Celso up next. I don't think he's played this month, has he?
He played an hour against Burnley, and that was it. And we both gave him a 6 in that game. So
he goes straight into okay.
Yeah, okay, just for the one game.
Which is unfortunate as well, because he was starting to play really well in the previous month, and then what happens always to Giovanni Lo Celso, the injuries start to creep in again, but hopefully we can see him back sooner rather than later. Next up is Pedro Porro. I would actually probably say this is probably his worst month of the season, which I don't think it's been bad, but it's just not been as good as it has been in previous months.
7.5.
Which is shows the quality of the man, because he goes straight into excellent.
Still excellent. Obviously, he got the winner against Burnley in the Cup. Great goal. We both gave him 9s out of 10 for that. Both gave him an 8 out of 10 for his game at Old Trafford. Then I gave him a 7. You gave him a 6 against Man City. And then he got 7s against Brentford as well. So very strong start to the month. Bumped him into an excellent.
Do you agree, though, that it's probably been his worst month of the season? Because that's how good he's been this season.
Do I agree it's been his worst month of the season? Probably. I think he's had... Yeah, I think so, because I don't think he's had as much influence on games, apart from the Burnley game, probably, where I think his passing has been like at the forefront of his performances. So I think he's maybe been a bit better defensively than he is going forward. But I don't think he's been bad. He's still been pretty consistent. So I don't think there's anything to really, I wouldn't say it's anything to go on.
No, I'm not worried about it or anything. But I feel like in this month he's been a lot better defensively than he has been going forward or on the ball.
Yeah, maybe there's a case for that.
Destiny Udogie up next. Obviously, that Brentford game is going to be a difficult one because he got a 6, but he was actually really good apart from the mistakes he made that game. So I think Destiny has actually been fairly good this month, but he has made those defensive lapses at times.
Yeah, 7.3.
7.3. So he goes into very good, which I think is fair for Destiny. If it wasn't for those horrendous mistakes at Brentford, he probably goes into excellent, or definitely goes into excellent.
Definitely would. He got 2 8s against Burnley and United, a 7 against City, and a 6 against Brentford for those mistakes.
Fraser Forster up next. Can't judge. Hasn't played a minute. Same with Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah. He
goes into can't judge. Brennan Johnson up next. And where will Brennan go? I probably goes into okay or not good.
5.4.
Yeah, just about into not good.
Yeah.
He needs to get 5.5 to go into okay.
Got the 7 against Brentford, which maybe even saved him from an awful potentially. But other than that, 6 against Burnley at home, and then 4s against Man United and Man City. And then obviously you take into account the Everton game as well. He hasn't been great of late. But yeah, that second half performance against Brentford saved him a bit.
We need more from Brennan. We really need more from Brennan, especially if Decky's not performing. He's got the pace. He's got the attributes to really attack his fullback and knock it past him. Use that pace, use that skill set that you have, and he's just not doing that at the moment. And that goal probably saved him a lot as well. The one that when he came on and scored in the second half against Brentford. Brian Hill up next. I mean, he's had a few cameo performances, but he hasn't started, has he?
No, we only gave him 1 rating, and that was against Man United, and it was a 6. So that's all it was, really.
Yeah, so he goes into okay. And then last but not least is Radu Dragushin, brand new signing. Hasn't started yet, but he's come on in a few games. I don't think we've given him a rating.
We haven't given him a rating.
Yeah, so Dragushin will go into can't judge, which is fair enough. So that brings the tier list. So who have we got as our player of the month? So
our player of the month, excluding, I think, let's say you have to play at least 50% of games in the month to qualify. So that excludes Davis and Emerson for getting it.
Well, they wouldn't get in there anyway.
Well, they would have, because they both got an average of 8.
Would they have got player of the month? Was that higher than Romero and Van de Ven?
It's just, it's not. It's higher than Van de Ven, but it is not higher than Romero, who wins our player of the month. He averaged 8 overall for last month. You gave him 3 8s against United, City and Brentford. I gave him a 9, an 8 and a 7, so that averages to an 8 as well. So Romero, on his return to the team, gets player of the month this month.
Wow.
Last month.
I'm actually shocked by that. I was certain it was going to be Van de Ven.
Van de Ven just about misses out.
Certain.
Well, you gave him 1 7, and that
against who?
Well, you gave him a 7 against United, 9 against City, and a 7 against Brentford. And I gave him an 8 against United, 9 against City, and a 7 against Brentford. So I averaged him an 8.
Wow. So I guess as well that Everton game is probably skewing my judgment a little bit again, because like Van de Ven got 9s in the Everton game.
Yeah, exactly. And he was
I
brilliant.
Think you gave him an 8 in the Everton game? Yeah, I gave him a 9.
Yeah.
So if he misses out next month, we know who to blame.
But Romero gets player of the month here. Congratulations to Kuti.
Big up, Kuti. Who got it last month?
Who got it last month? I think it no, it wasn't Van de Ven, because he didn't play in December. Who got it last month? I can't remember. I think Vicario. Vicario got it last month.
All right, well, let's run through those tiers with you guys one more time. So in Can't Judge, you've got Ryan Sessegnon, Manuel Solomon, Heung-min Son, Fraser Forster, Yves Bissouma, Pape Matar and Radu Dragushin. In Not Good, you've got Decky and Brennan Johnson, which 2 of the same positions, which is really frustrating. In OK, you've got Maddison, Skip, Højbjerg, and Giovanni Lo Celso. In Good, it's Timo Werner, Rodrigo Bentancur, and Vicario. In Very Good is Richarlison and Destiny Udogie. And in Excellent is Ben Davis, Emerson Royale, Mickey Van de Ven, and Pedro Porro. And in player of the month is Cuti Romero. I think it says a lot when the players in excellent, 2 of them have only played 1 game.
And all defenders, right?
And all defenders, which is crazy, to be honest, seeing as how many goals we concede.
We conceded how many goals this month? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals in 4 games we conceded.
Yeah, so the 2 clean sheets we kept both in the cup game. Well, sorry, 1 clean sheet was in the cup game.
Yeah.
In the 2 league games, and we conceded 4 goals.
But even though we've scored a few, we still haven't been very fluid as well. So I think we probably have been better defensively in a weird way, even though we have conceded quite a few.
Yeah. Well, that is our tier list for the month of January. Obviously, we'll be back later this month when we do our February tier list. Put your predictions in the comment section below. And if you think we've got anything horrifically wrong, or if you think we've got something right, give us some positive feedback in the comments section below. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.